5 football mistakes players make while controlling the ball. We're going to keep this pretty succinct, pretty short, just to give you a lot of good things you can take away from this video. So before we get started, make sure you download my free ebook, Game Changer, down below, absolutely free. Just make sure you get that if you haven't already. Want to make sure you're getting a lot of value from that. And without further ado, let's get into the very first one, starting in reverse order with number 5. Well, number 5 is very simple, and it's taking too many touches. You know, when you control the ball, you usually want to keep it in as few touches as possible, because this allows you to play quicker. This allows you to have more options once you have controlled the ball. You know, if the ball comes to your chest and it takes you 5 times to get it down to your feet, well, that's something you need to work on. Usually players with really good touch can take one touch to bring it under control more times than not. Number 4 is using the wrong part of the foot or body depending on the situation. You know, a lot of players may use their foot when it's actually easier to use their thigh. They may use a different part of their body when it might be easier to use another part of their body or a certain part of their foot. Maybe trying to control it with the outside when it would be just as effective to do it with the inside, and also easier. You know, it's not the place to really challenge yourself when you're in the match. Do the thing that's going to be the most effective, but make sure you're working on different levels of control, different ways of controlling the ball, so that you're able to use the one that's going to help you out in whatever situation you're in the game more often. Before we move on, guys, put in the comments, I am improving my ball control in football every single day. Align yourself to that, say that to yourself, and then go out there and work on this. But put that down in the comments, and also like this video if you've gotten some value out of it at this point. Anyway, let's get into the third one. The next one is not taking your touch and using your ball control with the situation in mind. Because you may even take a good touch, but you play it into an opponent. Or you might take a good touch into your feet, but you need to actually push it out a little bit more to take advantage of the situation. This one very much has to do with soccer IQ, with football intelligence and awareness. But make sure you're taking the right touch for the situation. For example, you might need to take a few touches and then shield the ball because you have a man on you right away. You might need to just play the ball back immediately, which actually does have to do with ball control, applying the right amount of pressure, maybe volleying the ball off to one of your teammates or whatever else it is. You might need to take a touch into space so you could exploit it, or in a certain direction so you could exploit it very quickly. But just learn, you know, what kind of touch should I be taking in this situation to take advantage of it, protect the ball, or whatever else the situation calls for. Number 2 is actually a very common mistake, and this is not getting behind the ball. Now, there are going to be times when you need to react and you need to stick out a leg because you can't get behind the ball. But don't be lazy and have the ball coming towards you and then be sticking your leg out. You know, if you get your body behind the ball, it just makes it easier to control in most situations and allows you, again, to use different types of control that are going to actually help you in that situation. So ideally, you want to get behind the ball in more situations than not. Again, reaching for it or kind of leaning your body into it is only going to encourage a bad touch or bad control. So for most, especially the simple ones, get your body behind the ball. And number 1 is not practicing control at game pace. Yes, you might be able to control a simple pass that comes your way slowly. You might be able to, you know, juggle forever. But how many game-like situations are you putting yourself in training, controlling the ball and then quickly reacting to whatever's going on? Again, in a game, you're not just going to control the ball and then that's it. You're going to control the ball and maybe dribble. You're going to control the ball, bring it down, maybe pass it off, maybe shield the ball. So make sure you're practicing drills that allow for these game-like scenarios to play out so that when you're in the game, you know to react after you control the ball. You know what to do afterwards once you've brought it under control, because that's just the first step. Once you've brought it under control, then what? And so make sure you're practicing those situations at game speed or the best you can right now. And if you keep doing that, you'll get better and you'll be able to react pretty naturally when these situations arise in matches. All right, that's been 5 mistakes football players make while controlling the ball. Make sure you are working on these mistakes, learning from these things in this video and applying them to your game. And if you do that, you will see increases, benefits to your ball control in football. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I will see you in the next one.